This is Jonah Hill, and you're listening to the only podcast that matters.
Before we get to the guest of honor, Larry, hit him with that ad read and keep those lights on.
As always, the only podcast that matters is brought to you by Seasons, a members-only rental service for designer menswear. They are our friends. They are our families. They are our colleagues. Jimmy and Larry have been getting absolutely fitted on the gram thanks to Seasons. You might have seen James healing most recently. How'd that turn out for you, by the way?
I'm proud to be the owner and proprietor of the most divisive fit pick in human history. And you know what? I'm just here having fun. What the fuck are you guys doing?
You're just asking generally.
Yeah, the general you. Yeah.
Because what I'm doing is I am actually, and this is great because this is what a natural plug to talk about one thing I love about Seasons. I'm in between bags right now. So I got a bag coming through. So I'm just like in that kind of like giddy schoolgirl, like Christmas Eve, that's my zone right now. Cause it basically felt like I just copped 3 grails without actually having to cop any Johns, you know what I'm saying? So I'm super psyched. Can't wait to put some fits together, get in the laboratory like Dexter and cook up my shit. My shit, it's all hits, no misses. So I don't know. I'm not really worried about
all tops.
I'm not really worried about a divisive reaction. And honestly, if anyone wants to come at me, I'm just going to block you and delete. So I don't really give a fuck. Super psyched. What's in anything in your bag? Anything?
Yeah, no, I just got some Drees archive. I just got some Hater Ackerman archive velvet pants. Hi haters, I see you. But no, little birdie told me that the next pack to touchdown on the Seasons app is a whole grip of vintage tees, which is honestly some of the best because you never know how vintage is going to fit, right? Because it's not a standard, it's not a standard sizing or anything. So I'm fucking stoked. I want the Bon Jovi joint. I want the Iron Maiden joint because we're still teenage dirtbags.
Wanted.
Yes, that's coming. That's touching down soon. Any minute now.
Awesome. All right. Shout out Seasons. Thank you guys again for sponsoring the show. Use promo code Throwing Fits, no space at checkout for 25% off your first order. Jim, how do I spell that shit?
THROWINGFITS.
Throwing Fits, no spaces, all lowercase. 25%
all under caps.
All under caps. 25% off your first order. You can fucking book it. Seasons. Better way to rent, bitch.
Throw Gang, we are joined by the head honchos of HBO, Don Dadas of the desk, Titans of the trade, Stonks, Princes of the pen, Don't Cry for Me, Abita, the Kings of Ketamine, Lords of Liquidity, creating shows so sick the Bloomberg is terminal, MVPs of the S&P, the Barbarians are at the gate, Meleges of Leverage, IPO, it's magic, Sultans of the Script, leading a hostile takeover of your eyeballs. Are you ready to bite the head off a podcast? The co-creators and writers of Industry, Mickey Down and Konrad K. Lads, thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
God, thanks for that introduction.
I need to take over.
We're kind of like writers ourselves. Most people think that this is like a shock jock thing, but James and I are actually extremely surgical when it comes to the pen ourselves. Guys, we're so excited to have you. The first thing that we want to do before we get into the show and you absolutely ruin your careers, we want to walk the audience at home through your outfits in a fit check. The question for you guys each is if you want to start bottom up or top down. And let's start with Konrad because he actually follows me back on Instagram and Twitter. So I like you better.
The right answer is bottom up, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Not a Bobby. Not a Bobby.
Not a Bobby.
I know that much. I've actually got the what I call the perennial pandemic shoes on, which are the Bostons.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah.
Living in these, to be honest, because I only discovered them like 4 months ago, and they're I wear them constantly. I wear them to the shower. I wear them to the shops. I feel like
so inside and outside.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, of course. They're ridiculous. They're like the best thing I've ever owned. I can't believe I discovered them so late. Trousers, socks are Supreme. The Hanes stuff. My sister bought them for me for Christmas.
Hell yeah.
think I'm probably, I don't know. I feel like I'm maybe a bit too old to wear them, but I kind of love them.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm 30, about to be 33.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm 34 and I wear Supreme, so you better not be too old because what does that say about me?
You're both 20 years too old for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally fair. Pants, what am I wearing with trousers? Stone Island. Cargo
Stony.
pants.
I'm going to go hooligan down the street after this at the local.
Big, like very big pockets for like keys and, like AR-15 magazine clips or whatever. Like, they're deployment trousers is how I describe them.
Yeah.
Then on the top, I've got a Basic Rights t-shirt on, which is our friend's fashion label in London, a guy called Jack, and our friend Freddie runs that business. And then my jacket is a Korean brand called Uniform Bridge, who I really like. Don't know if you guys have heard of them. Very, very good.
No, we have not.
And then my hoodie is what is my hoodie? It's a Scouse skate brand from Liverpool called Lost Art that I really, really like. Really, really good.
What about the friendship bracelet?
Oh yeah, and the friendship bracelet. We have industry season 1 friendship bracelets on as well.
Oh wow. Who made those? Is that like a homemade type thing or?
I don't know.
Well, one of our directors got one for us, and they both fell off and lost in the different circumstances, and so we got them remade in a higher quality. Really.
Yeah,
It's adorable.
Yeah, it's super cute, guys. Yeah.
And Konrad, what are the panties?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Supreme as well, actually. My sister bought me like an underwear set.
I love your sister already, man. I can tell that her and I would get along swimmingly.
Good taste. Got really good taste. I might have asked for them, but I'm not going to tell anybody that.
And then, Konrad, are you sipping on something a little tasty? What are you drinking?
I've got a little punk IPA.
Okay. Very nice.
A bit too much flavor for what I normally like, but I can deal with it.
Okay. All right. That is one half of a complete fit check. Let's toss it to Mickey. You, sir. Top down, bottom up, up to you.
I'll go bottom up as well. Since
love that. Quick learners.
I'm wearing these Gucci.
Damn. All right.
Which were actually, me and Konrad did this thing when we were writing the show. Is there was more times that we thought it was shit than we thought it was good. But whenever we thought it was good, so say if we had like a good piece of, we saw a good daily or like we wrote a good scene, we'd be like, well, we're going to be millionaires, obviously. So
right. Sure. Obviously.
That's really expensive. So this was the product of one of those days. The next day I probably realized that I made a huge mistake.
Can you name one New York Yankee?
Derek Jeter.
A current New York Yankee.
Yeah. Absolutely not.
Who's the guy? Who's Jennifer Lopez's partner?
That's A-Rod. Yeah, he also is not a current player.
But who's the cheat? Who's the guy who juices?
That's A-Rod.
Yeah.
But he redeemed himself. He's now America's sweetheart.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Yeah, we're behind the curve on that shit.
Who's the one that didn't Derek Jeter used to give a party bag to Wimberley Bank?
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To all the birds.
Yes. A gift bag, which honestly, that's a classy move. So
and apparently when he would have sex, he would say, yeah, Jeets. Yeah, Jeets.
He would cheer himself on.
Yeah.
That's just self-confidence.
That's self-love.
Okay. So Mickey, we have on the Gucci, are those leather slides? What are they? Mules?
Yeah, they're leather slippers.
Okay. And then socks?
Yeah. The socks are also Gucci.
Of course they are.
Are you full Gucci? Head to toe?
And that's because it was just Konrad got socks for Christmas as well. And it's I feel like it's one of those things that you used to get when you were younger and it wasn't cool, and now you only want to get when you're older for Christmas. And
if they're Gucci or Supreme Hanes, for sure. Yeah. But if it's some bullshit that your mom got you, it's just as bad as it was 10 years ago,
trousers are Gucci.
Yeah.
Are you? You're obviously the diva.
Yeah.
Well, it's for you guys. Come on.
Sure.
I was like, my wife
pandering.
Was like, are you going to wear all of that? And I was like, yeah, why not? And I saw
goddamn motherfucking right.
That team you put up today, which is the fit is whatever. If
oh yeah.
Is this a clue that Jared Leto is going to be on season 2 of Industry?
Well, I'll leave that open for him.
Fingers crossed. And then is it just the Gucci? Is that a vintage Gucci jumper up top?
A gift as well. It's actually a gift from a guy, which was my birthday. Katie gave.
Yeah, Katie gave it to you.
It's not. It's quite new.
It's beautiful.
Again, thank you. And then underneath, so these are canvas joggers.
Yeah, it's the monogram all over print. If anyone wants to have a mental image at home.
That's right. I'm wearing a Gucci.
Oh, wow. Come on, man. Damn, dude, you are draped up and dripped out, literally.
Yeah, and then a few sort of weird things I'm wearing. I didn't know you were going to ask me about my pants, which actually just changed, but they're like about 10 years old for the polls, and they're from a company called
Gucci.
Yeah.
Classic Sport.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Wait, so you haven't bought underwear in 10 years despite the HBO checks?
Well, actually, my wife again asked me yesterday. She was like, "You've got to get some new pants." And I was like, these ones. I was about to say these ones fit really well, but they fit really badly as well. I think most of them are. I don't know.
For the audience at home, pants is underwear.
Pants is underwear. Sorry,
Right, in the UK. Yeah. And then what about the watch? I saw you. Well, let's do the glasses. Are these like? Let's do the glasses first. Yeah.
Really weird. These glasses. These are the glasses that my older brother, wore when he was they're NHS glasses, so National Health Service glasses. He wore them when he was about 10 years old, and I found them the other day, or like about a year ago, and I thought they looked quite cool. So
They're sick.
My own prescription in them.
So it's like sentimental to some degree.
I mean, like yeah. So it's more aesthetic, but yeah.
Right. Well, you look great. And then what's on the wrist, dude?
A friendship bracelet, and then I got a bracelet from this place called Le Gram, which is make silverware, and then I've got a Rolex Explorer. Was
the Rolex like a gift to yourself when like you sold the show, or have you had that for a while?
No, it was a gift to myself when we got the green light on the show.
Yeah.
Fire. I love that.
Conrad, did you give yourself a gift when you got green lit?
Yeah, I've been trying to buy myself a watch for like I'd say the last 12 months as a kind of like exactly as a gift to myself. But also I was just like the universe feels like it just doesn't want to have me to have one. Like I've had all the time set out to do it.
Right.
I met the guy, I met the broker, and then COVID happened. Like he shut down his shop. It's just like all this stuff. Like I really wanted, I wanted like an old Rolex.
Sure, a vintage watch. Yeah.
Exactly. And I like the idea of knowing where it came from and speaking to a guy about it in the shop. I hate the idea of online.
It's like buying a car, right? More than anything.
Exactly. And like it's not a thing I know particularly. It's not stuff I know a lot about. So I like to sort of outsource my expertise to that. So I will do. It's just a matter of when, really. Hopefully.
Okay.
Also, it's nice to commemorate stuff.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, if this podcast made any like real money, James and I would maybe have something we could commemorate with. But we're trying to get there. And then also before we wrap up the fit check and the drink check, Mickey, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking something called a small beer, which actually is
it's a tiny beer.
Tiny beer, but also it's 2.1% alcohol. It's because I just recently had a baby and I just found
congrats on the sex.
Yeah, congrats on the sex, dog.
First time, long time.
Yeah. I drink probably like 5 times as much now. So to make that feel like a little less pressing, I've had to drink smaller beers. But
totally.
Yeah, this is all I have in my fridge. So until Konrad came around, which he's brought some actual proper stuff.
Yeah, we've got a little. We're about to drink this. Which is
okay. What is that? Is that vino? That looks delicious.
Some sort of natural red. I think it's a Beaujolais. Oh. Basically, I was so bored during lockdown, and I wanted something to get excited about. So I subscribed to this. It's really good, like natural wine club in the UK. In London, I think it's called like Orange or something, and they send you. Basically, they pick a sommelier from like a London restaurant, like Noble Rot or Brat or something like that, and the sommelier puts together like 5 different kind of natural wines. I mean, it's something I know absolutely nothing about, but it's like it gives you something. It gets you excited to open it, basically.
Like watches, right? It's kind of like watches you can drink in that regard.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm just going to put the dog out because he's eating a bone really loudly, and you must be picking it.
That's fine. I mean, we can't hear, but yeah, let's take care of that. Keep it professional on the podcast. But I think we have a complete fit check and drink check. Thank you, gentlemen. James,
all right, let's get into the meat and potatoes or bangers and mash.
Cheers to small beers, boys.
And let's get into the meat and potatoes of this podcast. As you guys know, Throwing Fit's the only podcast that matters. The 3 main subjects that we run through are money, a subject that's near and dear to your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Meats and cheeks. Also near and dear to your heart.
That's sucking and fucking
over here. Conrad, I don't know if you've ever fucked yet. And most importantly, Jimmy and Larry, the goddamn motherfucking boys. Ourselves. So let's start with ourselves. We'll get to like industry or is it industry? Yeah.
What's it?
HBO and the Beeb.
Sure.
Let's talk about ourselves for about 2.5 hours. Look, the entire reason that we invited you guys on, you two, the co-creators of HBO smash show Industry, which if you don't know, go fucking watch that shit now.
ASAP, expeditiously.
The only reason we asked you guys onto the pod was to ask the question on everyone's minds, when are we getting the merch?
Yeah.
This is a very, very crucial question. I mean, it's got to that point now where like me and Mickey are always telling each other, like, dude, when are we going to send the email? When are we going to send the email? And I think we just have to send the email.
You haven't sent the email yet?
I don't know who to send the email to.
Yeah, that's our main issue. We haven't sent the email.
We've spoken to HBO. We've spoken to our contact at HBO about it, and he agrees. And I think it's. I don't know if he's a creative contact though. I'm not sure.
Do they not see the chatter?
Yeah, the press. There's been 2 articles already written in actual, real fucking media outlets about a purple fucking sweatshirt exclusively.
Yeah. And people are already making what me and Mickey term jog merch, which is like fake.
Are you mad at that? Because you're not getting a little taste?
No, man, we love that stuff. Man.
Okay.
The fact that someone's printing rubbish shirts of the brand we made up is quite.
Yeah, so you give us the green light to sell them to our 18 million listeners.
I saw someone, because I made up a fake one and tweeted at you guys, and someone replied back with like their Redbubble, but they didn't put management offsite on the back of the hoodie.
Oh, come on.
Then it's not worth anything.
Attention to detail is so crucial.
And we need the puffer vest. The puffer vests, the fucking mugs. Come on.
Yeah. What went through your mind, both of you guys, I would love to hear, when you saw Virgil Abloh, the design god, the head of fucking Louis Vuitton men's, tweeting about Instagramming how on his stories, how much he needed that hoodie. Was that like a shock, or were you like, yeah, I get it?
Shock. It was mad. I mean, like if you knew the history of what that hoodie is and like how we sort of created it, and like it's just mad the weird things that people are light on and people focus on in a show like this. You're like, oh, people are going to talk about the deep relationship with Harper and Eric, or people are going to
a guy eating his own jizz, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get to that.
I thought more people would talk about that, but people want to talk about the fucking purple hoodie, which is.
What is the genesis of that hoodie? Like,
tell us the story there.
We got. I mean, who did you pick the color of that? I can't remember.
No, I remember when we were writing it, we said we need. Because we just basically wanted Eric to look ridiculous. So like in that moment, because he's come back in that scene. It's probably the most like sort of aggressive and sort of tense and dramatic scene. Sure. In some ways, and we just wanted to undercut that, as we always do, with him wearing like cargo shorts and a stupid hoodie.
Yeah,
and he wrote, Eric is wearing a big purple hoodie with management offsite on the back, and then
you wrote it. It's written into. It was deliberately written in.
These guys are the most deliberate motherfuckers ever when it comes to John's in the script.
Sure.
Write everything into script. But then then the costume department went and found a hoodie. And they sent us a mock-up, and it was like the Pierpoint logo on the breast and like really tiny Pierpoint logo, like Pierpoint script on the other side of the breast, and like tiny management offsite on the back. And we were like, just make it all bigger, put Pierpoint across and embroidered Pierpoint across the front.
Put it in quotation marks.
Yeah. That's the same design aesthetic that most streetwear brands employ, which is make the logo as big as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we were like, oh, okay, that looks kind of shit when we found
it's perfect. It looks like dog shit. Let's go ship it.
But yeah, it's a nice color though. It's a nice color.
It's kind of grown. I was talking to Mickey earlier today because I listened to your last episode with the Arc'teryx guy, Gil.
Cooper.
Cooper Gil.
He's a very cool guy, and I totally missed that Virgil Abloh when he came out in the what jacket was it? The beta jacket or what was it?
The alpha.
The alpha.
The idea that he comes out to like the idea that he walks in Paris Fashion Week wearing a purple Pierpoint hoodie is what we're trying to put out.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, that's talk about moving hearts, minds, and wallets. If you put it on Virgil Abloh's back, you will sell thousands.
Did he reach out at all? Did he ask the same question like, "Yo, when are we getting the merch?" Because he literally wrote, "Yo, drop the merch."
I know. And then I DM'd him on Instagram, and nothing back so far.
Well, that's because you have like 600 Instagram followers. That's the issue. You guys aren't verified.
Yeah,
it's fucked up. We'll hit our plug. We'll figure that out.
And also, if for the audience listening at home, just follow these guys. We were able to get Cooper from 200 to 2,000 followers. Let's fucking extend the same courtesy to these two fucking beautiful gentlemen.
Please do. I mean, I think that merch is such a phenomenon that everyone thought was like a flash in the pan, but continues just grow and grow and grow. And like corporate or like bank merch is this weird kind of almost like subculture, sub niche of like merch in general, for better or for worse, right? Like our guy Jonah Weiner he dubbed it the Corpo Gorpo, like the Arc'teryx or like Patagonia puffer vest with the bank logos. But in your opinion, what is your personal like corporate bank merch grail? Is it Lehman Brothers, Salomon Bros, Bear Stearns, like someone that's out of business? What is it?
I do. It's all of those, man.
It's all of those. Like I remember I wore a Lehman Brothers cap on set quite a lot of the time. And like we would like Konrad might send me like, oh, here's a Bear Stearns old like bag from like the day before it crumbled. Like we should get those. And like
I just think that stuff is unbelievably sick. I have no idea why it tickles my brain in that part so much. Like my dad worked for Salomon Brothers in its like heyday as a foreign exchange sales guy, and he like I think he was there at the same time Michael Lewis was there and stuff. And it was like when that stuff was actually quite cool and aspirational, I think. And that logo was, oh man, I actually have one of his business cards from that time. And it's just like, it's such a lovely piece of design. And I just, I think Solomon is probably the ultimate one of all of those. To be honest.
The ultimate grail. Listen, everyone at home right now is setting up an eBay alert to try to scoop you. So thank you.
Lawrence and I worked at Complex and we moved offices and we moved into the old Lehman Bros trading floor.
In the time
IT guy, the IT guy was like sending photos around, and there's still like Lehman Brothers like merch and paperwork like scattered around because they just fucking left in a hurry,
left under the crumbling it under the cover of darkness overnight and then just leaving merch. And I wonder if that dude is the guy selling it all on eBay, right? If you want to buy it, you might be buying it from our old IT guy, his little come up.
It goes for quite a lot of money.
No, it's not cheap at all.
I mean, they're selling to bankers, I'm sure. Like know your audience.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I want to ask you guys this. For anyone that doesn't know, so you guys worked together in banking before deciding to take the great leap into creating film and TV. But while you were in the banking sector, how did your like personal style, because I know that John's has always been an interest of yours, how did your personal style affect what you wore at these kind of like robotic and very strict dress code banking jobs?
Well, we actually worked at different places. But I think and different parts of different banks and like I think that actually did affect how we dressed quite a lot. I mean, like I just personally for me, the reason I got into banking is because of the clothes. I mean, like really? It's sort of a backwards.
Wait, for real?
Yeah, honestly, like I mean, like I'm not putting too fine a point on it. Like I thought the aesthetic was quite cool. Like I never thought about the fact that I had to sit in front of a computer and work like 100 hours a week. I like wearing like Hermes ties and like a nice suit and like nice like tasseled loafers, and I thought it looked cool. And
you need the money to afford that, which is why you just pick banking. Okay, got it.
Exactly. But like, I got a rude awakening pretty quickly. But then like where I worked, it was just like everyone wore a tie, everyone wore Hermes or Ferragamo. Like everyone wore tasseled loafers or the oldest guy. I mean, you never very, very rarely saw braces, but the sort of people who would wear them would be like really old 60-year-old, like sort of blue-blooded Englishmen. And then like the sort of American who's like 35, where he was like basically trying to be Patrick Bateman. But yeah, that was the impression.
Who wears braces on industry? Is it just Clement? Probably.
Clement. I don't even think Clement wears them. I think
really.
I haven't. I mean, I literally. The amount of people you see wearing braces in a bank is like probably 0.01%.
Yeah, it doesn't really exist anymore. I think we were trying to do that. The braces and stuff were like, we were trying to signify kind of times gone by, which was what Clement was trying to, I guess, represent in the show. But I think
heroin used to be cool.
Yeah, bygone era of cool drug usage.
Exactly.
What about
Conrad,
you, Conrad?
what were you wearing?
How did your personal style affect?
I think I had absolutely terrible style when I worked at Morgan Stanley. Actually, like really, really bad. I used to had like a couple of Paul Smith suits with like this really loud floral lining, which actually
Sir Paul
Smith to you, sir.
Sorry, yeah, dude. Sorry, it's Sir Paul Smith.
Put some respect on his goddamn name.
Yeah, I had this very Euro trash. Gray Montclair jacket, like a ski jacket that was like
shiny.
Say again?
Was it shiny?
Yeah, dude. It was really repulsive. And like, I think like Montclair's had a bit of a rehabilitation in the last few years, but it was just like it was the most. I don't know. It was not a good look, and it cost a fortune, and I really regret it.
Didn't you rent it out to someone?
Yeah, I did. I rented it out to a friend of mine who like loved it, and I was like, dude, just pay me just take it off my hands because it's like a millstone around my neck. I feel so guilty every time I look at it. And then I had quite a nice Burberry trench that I wore all the time. And then like 3 or 4 of my friends bought it. So we would go out. And
like a firm, looking like a fucking firm, dude.
It was so pathetic, actually.
Banker Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Wait, so
we all put the collars on his.
Well, of course, you have to see the check, obviously. But this is a perfect segue to in the pilot when Robert, his Ted Baker fit gets eviscerated. Did you guys experience something similar in real life?
Yeah, I mean that's also a brand that we found it very funny to go in on. So like it was unfairly. That mean we had these jokes about Ted Baker and Super Dry, but we always just trying to get into everything. But it was very there were people were very militant about what you wore. I mean, it was always just like it was never as obviously if we sensationalized it a little bit for the show to kind of bring as much drama into that scene as possible, people were always talking what the people wore. Mm-hmm. Europeans had there was such a cliquey way of dressing when I was at Morgan Stanley, and you could really tell without someone opening their mouth, like almost what country they went to, what business school they went to. It was just like a uniform.
I mean, that's something that I think gets lost on the American audience is kind of these like like in the UK, there's such still like a class caste system, right? And these like invisible signifiers as told through your accent. Well, I guess that's not invisible. That's pretty audible. Your accent, your clothing, how you carry yourself, the slang you use, like that's pretty much like it cements you. And I guess that's the tension of the show, right? Is like how much mobility is there truly as things maybe try to evolve the entire industry or as the industry tries to hold its own. Konrad, did you ever wear Supreme underwear to your job at Morgan Stanley?
I did not. Funnily enough, I did not.
Did Ted Baker reach out and ask you guys why you picked them to shit, why you shit all over them?
What did we do to you?
Yeah, exactly.
We were so good to you in your youth.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm pretty sure we snuck quite a lot under the legal radar on that show. Like I think there are things that like people just didn't understand and then didn't realize there would be legal repercussions for. Like there was a lot of ADR that me and Mickey wrote, which we were like, wow, I'm very surprised it's ended up in the show. We didn't get any pushback.
Well, you were tweeting at the fairy pod mom, Naomi Fry of The New Yorker, who wrote an amazing review of your show. And holy fuck, I just realized that she wanted to call in. Maybe I'll send her the link on text on the side. Mickey, you're telling her that Patagonia and Hermes, which I see the Hermes blanket in the back. You're not fooling nobody there. They wouldn't give you clearance to feature their clothing. Why not?
I think it was just I think for Hermes, this is what the sort of legal people told me. But they're quite specific in what they allow to be their brand to be seen. Like they're very protective, shall we say? But like I think we reached out to Hermes and they just put the kibosh on it straight away. They were like, absolutely no way. Like bankers, absolutely no way. They didn't want to be associated with them. And I think Patagonia were the same. Patagonia obviously are going through this thing where it's like, it's an outdoor brand.
Right.
It's co-opted by a load of, hardos.
Corpo.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they want to return to their sort of, their roots. So we say mountain climbing and maybe doing a marathon, but they don't want So they just did not want it at all. So we had to make our own. I'm just trying to think of some other places that said.
Yeah. Was there any other notable?
Weirdly though, maybe I'll get into legal trouble for saying this, but in the first,
just us guys, just us.
In the first episode, there was a whole scene set in an Hermes shop where they bought a tie, and because we couldn't use Hermes, we had to use Ferragamo ties, but in fake Hermes boxes. And I was thinking, is anyone going to call us out on this? And that was the moment where I thought, no one's going to watch this show.
There was a whole story actually which we cut from episode 1, which would have played so well, which was Hari, the guy who dies, his ultimate grail is a Hermes tie. It's the thing that it's why he joined the firm, and we thought it was a perfect metaphor for someone like him putting that on and feeling like he belonged. We thought it was perfect little bit of storytelling, and sadly because of the way the pilot went and a few complications with the storytelling, we had to shave it out. But it was one of me and Mickey's favorite moments in the whole thing.
Who else? So who was very eager, or not eager, but who gave you the green light immediately? They're just yeah, sure, go for it. Besides Ted Baker.
One brand. Do you remember that?
Ted Baker.
Yeah, Ted Baker.
They're like, any press is good press. Let's fucking go.
Ted Baker gave us a load of shit. Actually, I forgot. Yeah. I think it's probably because they were told they were being mentioned in the first episode, and the context wasn't really given.
Right. Yeah, that wasn't shared necessarily. Yeah.
Ramoa sent some luggage to us.
Oh. That's some pretty good flow right there.
Did you flip it? Did you flip it?
Yeah.
Like it's not like the way it was filmed, that episode, you can't even fucking see it. Like there's a bit where Eric is he's walking out of the office about to go on the management office site, and he's holding a remote suitcase, but it's just not in shot. And I was like,
it's really annoying.
When I saw those dailies, I was like, get that fucking thing in there, because I want them to send more stuff.
Yeah,
right. I want to ask about Ferragamo real quick. It's so funny because like you guys talk about how, again, like these invisible signifiers or very subtle signifiers, in the way you dress, like, the partner, they don't wear belts, right? Because their pants are so perfectly tailored.
Yeah.
And a few times in interviews and just now, you're saying that Ferragamo is like the fucking top dog brand. Meanwhile, over here on this side of the pond, Ferragamo is kind of like, I don't know, this like Euro trash, like I don't know if you guys watch
Riche.
Yeah, Uncut Gems. Howie Bling has the Ferragamo belt, which is obviously fire, but is it still exalted as like the top tier brand?
It's weird because it's like I only said that because from the place that I work, it's full of English and European sort of we call them chins here, so like blue bloods, like posh people, and they all wore Ferragamo. I think they considered Hermes to be a little bit sort of
really.
Yeah,
it's the exact reverse in the States. I mean, even though like if you have the Hermes H belt, you still kind of are like a bozo, but I think it might be reversed 100%. That's crazy. Damn, shout out Ferragamo. Well, listen, if anyone listening wants to send anyone on the spot a free belt, let's fucking go. You know what I'm saying?
So you guys talked about how you're as Peon surfs when you're in the industry, you were wearing Paul Smith. You're wearing, obviously, like aspiring to eventually one day rock the Brioni and Ferragamo. What about now as like TV writers? What are the brands that you're rocking now that you're cool guy creatives?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Besides Gucci head to toe and Stone Island.
I was going to say Gucci and Stone Island are probably not.
Of course they are.
I wear an embarrassing amount of Stone Island. I feel like I had no idea why. I feel like, I don't know. So the brand has such weird connotations in the UK, which I'm sure you guys are aware of in the US. Mm-hmm. But like, I'm always just like very impressed by the quality of the stuff they make. And like, I bought this, like I always wanted like a kind of really practical, like gorpy jacket, but like with a little bit of a kind of high end touch to it. And I bought this Stone Island Shadow Project Gore-Tex. Like everything's concealed. They conceal the badge, which is fucking stupid, but they have like, there's like a concealed, like it's got one of those concealed zips, which is really smart. It's got some ridiculous pocket, which has like 15 pockets in it. And like every time I put it on, it's weird. It's like, you guys, I'm sure you know this, like with a certain piece of clothing, you put it on and every time you put it on, it feels like you just bought it for the first time.
Yeah.
I
absolutely. Gift that keeps on giving for sure.
100%. And I actually genuinely, whenever I go there, I feel like I have this experience, which is like, why do I like this brand? And it comes back to the fact that every time I buy something from there, I get that exact feeling every time I put it on for the first time. So like, I tend to I don't know about Mick, but like I tend to shop in quite schizophrenically. So like I fall in love with something for 6 months and I build a little bit of my wardrobe there, fall out of love with it, but also keep it in my wardrobe. But then like I have another 6 months in a totally different place, like this like Scouse skate shop that I really like, which I guess if nobody's really heard of. And it's just, I don't know, my sense of style is like, I would just describe it, I don't know how Mick would describe it, but it's quite like schizophrenic and a little.
I would actually love to know how you would each describe your own personal style and then how you would describe the others, using schizophrenic as a jumping off point.
So schizophrenic is a really good word. And I feel like mine is eclectic probably because like, sometimes I will wear, like, obviously, I very rarely leave the house.
Sure. You do look absolutely ridiculous, even through a little Zoom square.
Like I definitely wear this around the house, but I might not leave the house. But like, yeah, I guess I've dressed in stages as well. Like when I was at university, I went from dressing like quite preppy-ish to basically being like very hipsterish, and then like loads of black scale, all black clothes.
Ooh, sure.
Like during that period, and then looking
like a member of the ASAP mob, looking like the second cousin of ASAP Nast or something.
Like their fourth cousin twice removed.
Yeah, right, exactly.
ASAP training room floor.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. Now I'm just like, I like nice clothes, I guess. Like, and sometimes they look totally different. I've got this, like, there's this company that I was wearing the other day, which is called Natalino, and it's one of those things that you get advertised on Instagram, and like those trousers that basically all look the same, like quite smart, like side adjusters, like you could wear them like around the house, but you can also wear them like basically as a suit. And I wore those, and then like that makes me sort of want to wear stuff like, I wear like Loro Piana and stuff. And like I love that stuff because in the same way as Konrad said, like it's like stuff that it's like good versions of stuff I had when I was 20.
Sure.
So like very, very well made versions of things I had when I was 20.
You can buy like the real or the version that's going to last, basically.
Exactly.
Instead of going to Zara or H&M or whatever to get.
It's no longer fake till you make it. You guys made it, right? Yeah. So now just do the damn thing.
Maybe. The thing is, all these things I keep very clean because I'm going to sell them all when we get accounts.
Right. Exactly.
Keep the tags on.
Yeah. You guys are super deliberate. That's like basically what is very clear.
Yeah. I never believed in this sounds like such bullshit, but like, I never thought that kind of like menswear where like you pay up for the research and the kind of the fabrics and the kind of thought that's gone into it. Like maybe because I just didn't have the money at the time. And it's not like I have the money now, but like picking some, like I'm a very neurotic shopper. So like I'm sure you guys, like I'll look at something for ages before I buy it. And I actually like the flirtation of like not buying it for a while and like making sure there's nothing else that's better out there. And
it's like a Yasmin and Rob relationship, except with clothing.
I'm honestly the exact opposite. Like I would just like shoot from the hip, be like, oh, that's really nice, like, and then just buy it and then regret it until it comes, and then love it for about a month, and then be like, okay, well, so there's something else that's really nice. Basically, I've got a problem.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that there's a lot of problems happening for sure.
We're working out. We're talking all through.
Yeah, that's what this is. This is not so much a podcast as it is a therapy session for all of us.
That's what we thought when we were coming on.
Yes, exactly. Speaking of all of this like deliberate dressing, James and I were really curious, and we were speculating about this. What did you guys wear the first time you had a meeting with like HBO? Like, what did you decide to bring out for the big dogs?
Fucking hell!
There's no way you don't remember.
No, actually, you know what? I actually remember. There's a few times I remember because I remember one of the HBO executives commented on what I was wearing and said like she actually looked at another executive and was like, see what I mean? And
that's loaded as fuck. Yeah.
I remember what I was wearing. I was wearing like this. There was sort of a imprint of Ralph Lauren called Ralph Lauren Country, and it was.
I'm familiar. Yeah. Before Double RL. Yeah.
This jumper I bought in Japan, which was it has the date in the corner. And it was 89, which the year I was born, and it was like a Monopoly house and like a horse, and like I wore that with a polo neck underneath it. And I remember boiling as well.
It was fucking sick. Actually, now I've got a sense memory of the whole thing. Yeah, it was really.
But then again, like I remember. There was when we went to LA to sell the show, and like we had a meeting with them, and I think we were wearing like sunglasses, and like we looked like we were on holiday. And then the next day when we actually we were having dinner actually with them, and then the next day when we actually had to go into pitch it, we came in like I was wearing like a shirt and like glasses and stuff, trying to show that we could
familiarize ourselves with it, because we spent a lot of that weekend spectacularly hungover. So it was like,
nice, hell yeah.
How are we gonna roll back from this and professionalize ourselves a little bit? So we went in like a couple of schoolboys wet behind the ears, saying,
"Get you a showrunner who could do both." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Con, what was the first day fit for you, or that pitch fit for you?
I have no idea. It was probably
blacked out.
Yeah, I have no memory. It was like, well, I don't know, actually. It was, so like, the kind of when I don't want to wear chinos ever. And I also I hate jeans, but it was like our friend, this brand Basic Rights in the UK, which a couple of our friends run, they make these like very nice, like high-waisted linen trousers, which are, they're super smart, but they're a trick because they're like, they feel like you're wearing tracksuit bottoms. So like, I think I was wearing those and maybe, I don't know, a white t-shirt, something inoffensive.
It's a yin and yang situation, right?
Mm.
I mean, I know that you guys have started spending a lot more time in LA dealing with these Hollywood fucks, and coming from both a city and an industry that is so intentional and so smartly dressed. What do you think of the garbage style in LA?
I think it's so good. I love it.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe because I don't know.
You're just happy to be there, dude.
I mean, we spend most of the time we're in strip clubs. So I like the way that people dress in strip clubs.
Yeah, same. Yeah, we all do.
Me and Mickey went to this place called the Playpen when we were last in LA. What was it like? It was January, just before COVID struck. Honestly, man, we got there at 5:30. We were the only people in there. It was me. We were so jet lagged. It was me, Mickey, the manager.
Jet lagged in the strip club.
And he was like, guys, there's no one who can serve you drinks. We're like, we'll wait until someone can serve us drinks. Honestly, we were in there for the length of a transatlantic flight. We were in there for 7.5 hours.
We're quite lazy. I mean, it was literally opposite our hotel, I think. Yeah, we could see it from our hotel. So we were like, okay, we'll obviously just go down. We were staying downtown. So we were like, okay, we'll just go there.
Looks like a fun place to hang out. Take a nap.
We'll meet some interesting types that we can write about potentially.
Right, sure. Well,
You're doing research.
So that's a loaded question, right? Wherever anyone who meets you guys and has a conversation, like, are they potentially being like, analyzed and unpacked as potential like character shit later?
100%. And we're probably doing an impression of them at some point.
Oh,
I find ourselves doing impressions of people all the time.
Damn, that's going to bode well for myself and James. Then.
Well,
I think a little more time with you to really master it. But yeah,
sure.
Yeah, always. I mean, like, I think we're quite. I'd hope to think that I think we're observational writers, and like we write about stuff that we know quite a lot. And like obviously this is based on our experiences, and like a lot of the stories in the show, even the more extreme ones, are anecdotal or have happened to me and Konrad. So yeah, we're always on the lookout for stuff that we can steal.
Well, obviously the show is hyper informed by your personal experiences, and it's becoming quite obvious that you guys are fellow party animals. Thank you for your service. How truthful is the partying on the show? Because between us, I was the first to kind of like fall in love with the show, and I was trying to get Lawrence involved in it. And then when he finally came around, he's like, yo, why didn't you tell me how sick the partying is? So I guess like
he buried the lead. I was like,
obviously the partying is so entertaining and so like, pushing.
It's inspiring. It is truly
inspiring. And again, thank you for your service. But how much of that is truthful with like what actually happens in finance IRL?
It's really weird actually, because people have come like there was a few articles that came out when this show first dropped, and it was like there was one in the Guardian written by the secret banker, and it was like it's very realistic in loads of ways, but there's no way that anyone in finance actually parties that much. They're working way too hard. And then there was another.
This guy sounds like a loser.
Exactly. Exactly. And then I saw there's another one in the Financial Times saying there's no way they party that hard. No one would ever stay out all night and then go into work. And I was like, I mean.
Grow up, Peter Pan.
You have the wrong friends.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
you're at the wrong firm. What firm does party? What firm parties the hardest?
What firm?
Yeah.
Oh, God. We could get into a lot. I mean, I don't know. I mean, my firm did just primarily because of the people that were there who were my friends, and like I actually quite a few people from my university went to the same place, so there was a sort of group already.
There's bonding that already happened prior. So yeah.
And are these guys hiring?
Yeah,
Lawrence and I mean, we're
are we qualified? Okay, how about this? Here's a more general question: who does more ket, bankers or cool guy creatives? Now that you've been on both sides of that line,
I would actually say, I don't know. That's a really good question.
Thank you.
And one I did not think I was going to be asked this year.
It's like again, I have no idea. That is a difficult question. Ket is definitely the.
I'm thinking about the people.
That's like the drug du jour, though, because that's what we've even talked about in this podcast before. We're like, ketamine is like having a moment. It's the same overseas.
It's so fun compared to like,
yeah, sure.
I think I you know what, I think they do equal amounts.
Okay.
Like, thinking about my friends in finance,
what a diplomatic answer.
Friends, and they all the quite a lot. And the diplomatic answer is that they both do quite a lot.
Is there from the Hollywood side, because we were talking about this, how you kind of now have like 3 awesome finance/business shows, right? You have Industry, you have Succession, and you have Billions. Is there like a fetishization in Hollywood of like the finance world, and not just Hollywood, but like pop culture? In the same way, like, I mean, Mickey, I wanted to ask you this, like Balenciaga, they did a collection that was all just fucking like plain ass office wear, right? Like, I don't know if you saw that, but like, do you find that you guys are kind of like put on a pedestal because you come from the banking world and now you are like the cool guys in Hollywood that, are people's portal into this, foreign glamorous world?
I think that's a really interesting point. And like, it's kind of, we didn't know how the marketing of the show was going to go before we had finished it. And like, I think if me and Konrad hadn't had our story and hadn't worked in finance, we would not be anywhere near at the marketing of the show.
Totally right.
You know, I mean, maybe, you know, a big name writer or like a big name writer would be saying the show as much as we have. But like, I think it was the story of us going from finance, you know, spectacularly failing at it and then going and finding something else, which has been the narrative that HBO and everyone has been pushing. And to be fair, I think it is, you know, it's an interesting point of the show. And I think it does give it a little bit something, you know, other than just, you know, a show.
What do you think of that narrative, personally speaking, as like the guys who failed and are back, baby?
Yeah, we
like,
play up to that quite a lot. I mean, like, we play up to it in the interviews, and like we did fail. I mean, clearly. But I think it makes it for a good story that we totally burnt out and then came back.
It reminds me of another duo that should be pretty obvious as far as like, you know, failures and then coming back and rising like the goddamn fucking Phoenix. You know,
Hey, what's up?
Yeah,
what's up, guys?
We empathize.
What was and you know, Lawrence and I, like, we definitely had a long term, I think, like struggle and back and forth and like personal and collective crisis about like, are we going to do the damn thing? Are we going to quit our jobs and pursue this podcast and
the dream,
you know, quote unquote job full time? Did you guys? And there was never like a single moment. There's definitely a moment where I was like, Lawrence, we're doing this, right? Like 2020, we're going to jump together, right? And he's like, yeah, bro, you quit your job, I'll quit mine. And I was like, all right, I'm quitting in March. And then pandemic happened. I was like, yo, I'm not going to quit my job yet.
Changed my mind.
But he had already put in his notice.
I had already quit.
And I hung on for another month or two, but was there like an exact moment or, memory where you guys like realized that you had to quit your banking jobs and pursue this passion?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a very similar story to yours, to be honest. Like Mickey left his firm like maybe 18 months before I did.
Yeah.
And he talks this part of our story down quite a lot, but he kind of like set out on his own because he's humble. He set out on his own, and you know, he spent a lot of his weekends and time. He like corralled a group of people together. He made like a short film about a kind of banker who wants to be it was really, really funny. It's about like a banker played by Mickey who kind of thinks of himself as with higher aspirations, thinks he's really cool, hangs out in Shoreditch. Like he kind of has aspirations about like knowing loads about fashion and skating.
Oh, so it's a fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. It's a David Lynch movie, and he was like he managed to sell it to NBC just at the same time as he got an agent. I vividly remember this. I actually told the story on a date to a journalist in Australia. I was like, vividly remember the day he called me at my desk, and I was at Morgan Stanley, and he was like, this isn't, because we always thought of it as a kind of pipe dream, and he was like, this is actually something that we could physically do for a living, and like, yeah, we might not be remunerated in the same way immediately, and yeah, all this sort of stuff, but it's not, you know, I have an immigrant mother who's Polish and Mickey has an immigrant mother who's Ghanaian, and there was always this thing which was like, you need to have a career plan, which is kind of
a stable career.
Yeah, earning as much money as possible, as quickly as possible, which obviously precludes you from an arts career in some regard. And Mickey was just like, dude, this is a thing we can actually forge ahead. It's not like a pipe dream. And like, I very, very vividly remember the day I took the call, and like,
Then 6 months later, you
yeah, exactly. 6 months later.
It was so inspiring that it only took 6 months.
Bro, I got to wait for the bonus to hit.
Yeah, right, exactly. I got to time it right.
It was kind of like that. It was like, I've got to get paid before I...
Yeah.
My boss took me up. The day I got fired, he was just like, come upstairs. I was like, I came upstairs, I rode the elevator up, and he was like, here is your severance package. I really like you as a person. Spend 12 hours a day with you. You're quite interesting. You're quite funny. You are the worst salesperson I've ever met.
Oh, you got fired. You didn't quit. You got fired.
Made redundant. He was just like, you're the worst. You don't understand anything you're talking about, and you never call anybody. So therefore, you're not a right candidate for this kind of work. So
wait,
like,
Konrad, if you hadn't been made redundant, how much longer do you think it would have taken for you to take the leap on your own without the push, or would it have not come? Like, can you say?
I'm a very passive guy. I'm path of least resistance. I hate fighting with people. I just can't be bothered. Like, the fact that me and Mickey are in a partnership is very important to me because like he's kind of yin to my yang. Like he pushes.
Sure. The duality of man. James and I know about that very well.
Comfort zone all the time, which is just super, super important. And like I would Honestly, no, I'd probably still be there because it was a life I hated, but it was a life that was easy, you know?
Right.
Path
Sure.
of least resistance.
Exactly. Yeah. When you guys are taking this leap, whether on your own volition or by getting pushed by your manager, did your colleagues like laugh at you, or people even in your personal life? And if you'd like to take the time now to tell them to suck your dick, please go off.
Suck our dicks.
Nice. Okay. But then did you face criticism about like, this is a stupid pipe dream that you guys are doing and you're blowing it?
People were laughing at me for different reasons, to be honest. But I think it's because I don't know, at that age, I was surrounded by people who really didn't know what they wanted to do, and it felt like, I don't know. I think people sort of responded quite well to it, to be honest. I mean, my old colleagues were like, "What the fuck are you doing?" But like, they also knew I was really bad at the job, so they were like, "Okay, well, maybe you'll be slightly better at that." I mean, I actually, it's really weird though, because but out of the colleagues that I worked with that I knew before, obviously I've kept in touch with them. They all love the show, and like they've gone into different things, and some of them are still in finance. But then like my other colleagues that I didn't know, I just have no contact with. Like the day I left, I never spoke to them again.
Right. See ya. Peace. Deuces.
What about that?
Although one of them, a really senior, I heard an anecdote about a really senior managing director at my firm in a meeting, and with a guy, we had mergers and acquisitions, so it was the CEO of another company, and the CEO said, so who are you? Who are you? And he was like, what are you talking about? He's like, who are you in industry? Because, industry is based on this firm. And the guy was like, what? And like in the middle of the meeting, like got his phone out, I was like, him. And I was like, my friend who was in the meeting on the other side.
That's so sick.
Best moment.
Have any former colleagues like reached out, whether they're like clout chasing or been like, yo, bro, like I totally want to.
Yeah. Oh, I see you blowing up. Like, what's good? We haven't talked since.
No, I misinterpreted clout chasing. More people being like, oh, this is obviously me. Like,
like being narcissistic and using it as like
100%, and being like, oh, this is so clearly this, and this is so clearly that, and like, trying to. Man, the egos on some of these guys who message me is just unbelievable. Like, you should have done this, you should have done that, like, whatever.
But there's got to be characters that were, I want to ask about, before even getting to other people, I want to ask about the Greg character and how he's writing a script, right? Mm-hmm. And they find it, and it's like fucking, finding Michael Scarn's script in the office, in the US office, and he gets made fun of. Like, was that an experience that you drew from personal experience on?
I don't know. That script weirdly is actually, the name of the script is Not an Exit, which is the original title for Industry. Because when me and Konrad started writing together, we wrote the script called Not an Exit, which was like not good. That shares some resemblance to Industry in that fact that they're both set at a bank. It was more just a cathartic experience for me and Konrad, and like seeing if we could work together. But yeah, the idea of like wanting to do something else of your life while you're doing something which feels a little bit like an albatross around your neck is definitely something that both of us felt.
Did someone scream in your face, wake the fuck up?
Yeah, that never happened. Well, maybe, but not for that reason. But yeah, he represents a lot of people that we know in our lives that, are stuck in jobs like that, which, they are, they're remunerated very well. They've got a certain lifestyle now that they can't really break through it because, at the end of the day, they've become accustomed to like nice clothes and a car and a house and mortgage, etc.
Let us caveat all of that by saying we know that that's a certain specific type of problem, like a privilege kind of problem.
Sure.
It's not like, the banking job being the hardest fucking version of existence that you could possibly have. But it was just like, it was in our social circle a lot. So we felt compelled to write about it. It's like one of the archetypes that you see in the finance world so much, which is kind of like people who are kind of born into privilege, were put on a conveyor belt through all these institutions, ended up in like the hallmark institution of a career, which is like Goldman Sachs or a version of that, Pierpoint, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan. And they have that moment of like, everything's been handed to me and I want to kind of self-actualize. So maybe I have to go and like mine my talent. Like I need to be a writer or a musician or some sort of, and then for Greg, it was kind of like, it was that thing which, like, maybe he's not actually talented at all, but he feels like if he doesn't try and kind of inhabit that part of himself in his 30s, then what's it all for? And it's, it's a very it's not a particular. I think on some levels in that world, it's a pretty universal story. We're not trying to say it's like the greatest hardship in the world.
It's not a bleeding heart story.
It's not a bleeding heart story.
Right.
You're not supposed to feel sorry for him.
No.
Especially at the end when he's like in his really big
You don't feel sorry for a lot of the people on the show.
No, it's just satire. Like that's what Harper's job in some ways is to be the audience surrogate and like the eyes onto the world of all of this kind of privilege and these kind of. They're not caricatures because I think they're very true to life, but they're talking about a very specific subset of people in a quite universal way. Is how I describe
the idea that exists in finance quite a lot. The idea that like, you could be incredibly successful in your job in finance and that you're still wanting to like write a script. It's just it's so pervasive. Like I remember when we were just before we started writing it. Anyway, we'd been picked up, and a friend of mine who works at a very well-known private equity firm said, "Oh, one of the partners, he just actually left, but one of the partners wants to meet you." And I was like, "Okay, well, what's he going to talk about?" And like, I met this guy who was a partner of this firm. Now he must have been earning like millions a year.
Sure.
And he's like, "I've got the script." And I was like, "Oh." And he was like, "It's a bit of a cross between margin call and billions." And I was like, "Okay, all right, we'll see where this goes." And like, he was like, "Can you
tell me more?"
Yeah, he's like, "Can you put me in touch with the head of HBO?" And I was like, "Well, not really." Like, it's sort of the marriage of like,
don't quit your day job, homie.
Total lack of talent and like massive ego and just like the entitlement, the fact that he deals with CEOs in his personal life and his business meant that he thought he could just like jump to the front of the queue and be like, "Okay, well, just put me in touch with fucking Steven Spielberg and I'll tell you how good I am."
Right. Guys, you have to realize something about British society, and maybe it's true of American society, but it's way more true of British society, which is like there is this unbelievable, because of private school and state school education and like being able to pay for your education the moment you're born versus not being able to, there's this amazing ability in UK society to fail upwards. So like the most mediocre people in the world get the most opportunities, and they basically become the gatekeepers for like all of these industries. And they're like, in the main, there's literally nothing remarkable about them. And that was a lot of my experience of those places was kind of like that.
Sure.
It's true politics.
You guys probably don't know this, but the name of this show before we lost our intellectual property was literally Failing Upwards. So we know exactly what you're talking about. Can't make that shit up.
Kind of sounds like your private equity friend sounds like Christopher Moltisanti.
Yeah.
Some of mine are Mickey's favorite scenes in The Sopranos, which Mickey's obsessed with The Sopranos, but all of our scenes which we like meme to each other are all of his screenwriting scenes. They're so funny. When he meets that like redhead development girl,
yeah,
man, some of those episodes are just incredibly good. So funny.
Well, okay, so this great character sounds like a kind of composite or amalgamation of a bunch of kind of just general pervasive themes that you see throughout the entire finance industry. But are there, we see a lot of absolute monsters on the show, and I have to imagine, again, the show is like so informed by your own experiences. Like, are there any characters, without naming names, because you mentioned that some people reach out and like, "Yo, this guy's totally me," right? But without naming names, let's want to.
Don't reinforce their negative behavior.
Were there any characters on the show who are modeled after any former bosses or colleagues that you particularly enjoyed skewering and turning into like a piece of shit on the show?
Hamming it up, turning it up to 11.
Maybe in Inception, but like they soon took on lives of their own. Would you agree?
I totally agree. Yeah.
Like at the start, we were like, okay, well, it'd be great to get a character like him in the show. And like, for the reasons you've outlined, like we can skewer him, we can make him look stupid, and hopefully people will recognize that that's him. But then, just in the process of developing the show, like they hopefully take on more layers.
Right.
Yeah. Has anybody who reached out and been like, "Oh, is this based on me?" Like actually got it right to some degree?
I've had one of my colleague that I really liked when I was at Morgan Stanley was like, "This guy's definitely this guy," and I was like, "Yeah, it is 100%."
Yeah, he's like, he's like, "How did you know I ate my own jizz?" And you're like, "Well, you just perjured yourself, homie," because I did not know.
I want to talk about a fan favorite, whether he's like a good guy or bad guy, because it's not a binary necessarily, especially in like the complexion of the character and all the characters on the show.
Like The Sopranos, right? Exactly.
But the Eric, that character, he's like super alpha, he's scary, he's ferocious, he's territorial, and these aren't qualities, and I'm asking as like a half Asian guy, these aren't qualities you see played by an Asian man especially here in the US. So I want to know what was that decision intentional? Was it just because Ken Leung is like such a fire actor? Like what was kind of behind the decision there?
So a number of things. I mean, like that's an example of like, and he's not really based on this guy, but like there was basically like when we started our careers, actually I did an internship at the same place that Konrad worked. And like, there was just a sort of quite like very impressive, formidable Asian American MD. And I was like, well, that's the start of a character. And then the character took on those new levels and like became slightly different. But like, for the reasons that you just said as well, like we thought it would just be cool to see an Asian character that isn't like doing an Asian stereotypical role.
Yeah.
Right? And like you never see it. And like, I think people have picked up on that for the right reasons. And there was moments where we were like, oh, you know, we were seeing other actors for it and some actors that weren't Asian American. And it just felt like we were really missing an opportunity to have like very broadly, a cool, complex Asian American character.
We were the thing is not to sound like cynical about it, but because I find like the conversations about like representation and stuff, you feel that they're so not overplayed, but people talk about them so much in Hollywood that they kind of not lose their meaning because they're incredibly important, but you just hear it as the main narrative about a lot of storytelling.
What is that?
Yeah.
No idea.
I'm living basically in the building site, so it might be something to do with that.
Another Gucci delivery.
Yeah. Is that your Gucci vacuum?
I can't even remember what I was saying. I was trying to say something interesting, but it's
Some
totally
bullshit about wokeness.
Yeah, something about representation. Who gives a fuck?
Who cares? Exactly.
No. Let me just say, I think it is cool that yes, not only are you seeing people of different colors and races and ethnicities, but also inhabiting different characters and not just playing like a stereotypical role. You don't have like a sexualized or like aggressive Asian man, usually, desexualized and like passive. So appreciate that. That's why I go by Horny Jimmy. I'm doing my thing. You guys are doing your thing. So
a beacon of representation for the Asian community.
I'm glad you said that because like, for example, the Harper character is an example. Is like you go to a show like this and maybe you expect her to act in a certain way because she's where she's from and what she looks like, and like I love the idea that she doesn't do that, and like you come to the show with expectations about what a biracial black woman is how she's going to behave, and like we presented hopefully a slightly sort of morally dubious, easy to lie, anti-hero, and that's sort of what we do. Sure. Like, and like for example, and like the Gus character as well. I remember. I can't remember who we were talking to about this, someone in America, and they were like, we didn't realize there were like posh, rich black people in England. And I was like, well, of course there are. And like, and the idea, like, seeing like someone like that on screen was very important to us. And like, just like, and it isn't a cynical thing because, you could just say, okay, let's take this character and just totally subvert them and make them like totally unexpected. But these people exist, and like, they are underrepresented
on TV. And it's that thing as well. Like, it's not, and I would never compare ourselves to any of the great HBO shows, obviously, but there is a trend in modern television towards characters that either slot into a bracket that you understand or ideologically or any of that stuff, but they become very much either heroes or anti-heroes or heroes or villains. And our thing was just kind of like, let's try and the humanity is making them impossible to pin down. So one scene, you're like, I'm totally on this person's side. The other, I'm like, why the fuck would you do that? Why are you self-sabotaging all the time? And one of the criticisms we see on the show on Twitter is like these people sometimes behave in a contrary way, which doesn't make sense to an overall arc. And it's like people self-sabotage all the time. It's
real life, right? Yeah, exactly.
Real life. People. I don't know about you guys. I mean, I feel like this. I feel like hour to hour, I'm not the same person. So like it was like
I think that's the schizophrenia that you were talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I should get it diagnosed. But it was more about, and it's very difficult to do that within TV rules. And I think maybe sometimes we overstretch the boundary on that a little bit just from inexperience. But like we wanted to kind of capture that human experience as much as we could in the show.
Well, you guys did a fantastic job. And despite Konrad pushing for it heavy, industry was robbed at our award show, the Fiddies, unfortunately coming in a paltry, embarrassing fourth place.
Respectable because there were like 28 shows in the category. And you guys were the only ones that were pushing for it. John Wilson, if you're listening, suck my dick.
I was just being a dickhead, but here's the deal.
Michael
right?
Jordan, suck my dick.
Regardless, James and I, really the only opinions that matter, because we're the only podcast that matters. We believe that industry was overshadowed by maybe what we would consider not bad shows. Well, maybe bad shows, but definitely not as good as industry shit like The Crown and The Queen's Gambit is another one. What can you tell to the 18 million listeners right now about industry season 2 to entice them to get the fuck on board before they get the fuck run over? If anything,
the partying comes back.
Okay, that's great. Okay, I'm in.
It's been pushed to the shadows a little bit, maybe, but you know, I won't talk about the season 2 so much because obviously it's still in flux. Right. We will deal with the pandemic in some respect, and
interesting
how people reacted to it, especially in London, because like there's been so many different reactions to it.
Right.
Like, you know, London is a city full of people who love to like get on it, and they've found very, very different ways to get around that, which we're looking forward to exploring.
Will there be more or less explicit fucking and sucking? Because that was also awesome.
It'll be the same level of fucking sucking. Fucking sucking is a show.
Yeah,
that's close.
Thank you guys for normalizing cunnilingus, by the way. Thank you for that again. Not only just representation of different races, but also different sex acts. Fellas, eat some pussy, fellas.
We've had a lot of people messages like DM us saying like, thank God you put that on screen.
Yeah,
like,
it builds strong bones, man.
Exactly.
Eat your Wheaties.
Yeah.
All right. Here's a question I can ask about season 2 that you contractually have to answer. Otherwise, you don't get your goodies. Mick, you were kind enough to slide into my DMs and ask about the podcast loafers, the loafers that Throwing Fits did with our boy Chris at Blacksock and Weber. We are sliding you a pair at no cost. We're eating that because we know that it's going to appear in season 2 of Industry. What character, who's going to wear them on season 2?
Who do you think would wear them?
Who has the same size shoe as you?
Greg.
There you go.
I think Greg would probably wear those.
Greg the egg?
You know what? I'll wear them in a walk-on part.
Have you guys cameoed in your own shit? I mean, that's got to be.
We're in the last episode. We're in the last shot of the whole show. It's on Primrose Hill in London, and it's Harper looking at her diary and looking over London. You can see me and Konrad. I'm walking my dog, and he's actually dragging me because you can see my wife on the other side of the camera. Behind is a quite sinister-looking guy in a black Stone Island jacket, and
unsurprisingly, that's me.
Yeah. That's Konrad.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get you in the loafers. I would love to see Eric in the loafers, right? As a fellow Asian, Rishi is the fucking man.
Oh yeah,
I know. Chef is going to come on and ask about Rishi.
Yeah.
Just anyone, I guess. Just please.
Rishi could wear them.
Rishi would look sick in them, to be honest.
Absolutely, not Kenny. Fuck that guy. Fuck Kenny.
Kenny has no style.
Yeah.
He has absolutely no drip.
Zero fucking drip, dude.
Well, we're gonna take. We're gonna take baby steps, pun intended. And first we're gonna start off with a loafer cameo.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're gonna talk about other types of cameos. I guess the question is like, Lawrence and I, we have this podcast. It's great. We make not great money, but it's a lifestyle that we enjoy. How can we get an HBO show? Not to be the fucking dick ass CEO who's gonna jump to the front of the queue. That's a line for our Patriots over here. But how can we get an HBO show?
Yeah, just generally speaking, how do we do that?
Why is there not like an Entourage, but for like menswear?
There is. It's How to Make It in America.
Yeah, and it was terrible, and it was absolute dog shit.
I loved it.
Well, yeah, we loved it too because we were watching when we were 14 years old, dude. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Kid Cudi's sick.
That's a show. That is a show where there was a meeting in between seasons. They were like, we need more sex in this. Because if you notice, in between seasons, there's like
Lake Bell's having a lot of sex.
There's like have sex and like nudity.
But
Lake Bell's titties are the only thing keeping this on TV. So
we need more titties. We need more Luis Guzman.
Yeah. Well, James and I have always envisioned our version of Girls, Boys, right? Which is about kind of like our come up in, the media fashion space. So I guess something in between there. So listen, if you want to get fully pitched, we could do it off mic. You know what I'm saying? If you guys want to shepherd that process.
Watch that second. Yeah,
so did I.
Watch that in a second. And How to Make America had its problems, and like story probably was one of them. And
yeah, the script.
yeah, the script. No, I loved it. But
The
like,
issue is,
Joe, there was something in that of like sort of like like.
Yeah, it's called male friendship, right? The beauty of male friendship.
it's that New York hustle, baby.
Yeah.
You don't see that. You don't see that enough on screen. I mean, we tried to do it a little bit with Robert and Gus, but like I think like very intimate, hetero, but like very intimate, like tactile, loving male friendship. You don't.
They
see
do
them.
sit very close together on the couch.
And I love it. And them being that when they're the roommate kind of and dynamic in that bond, I actually is a really enjoyable thing to watch. And I think it is palpable and it comes through. So shouts out to you guys. You're clearly friends in real life.
So that's how we're putting a bow on the hour and a half that we spent talking about ourselves. Let's move on to the second topic of this podcast, which is again a subject near and dear to your hearts, to your wallets. Let's talk money.
Ka-ching.
Root of all evil.
Yeah.
I know that here in America, salary transparency is becoming more and more important, right? We want to know how to value ourselves, how to value our work. Lawrence and I, we have our monthly podcast revenue. It's a matter of public record.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
on Patreon.
Konrad, while we wait for Mickey to come by, I want to ask you, how much money do you make?
Mick, how much money do we make? He's more abreast of this stuff.
Yo, sure, for sure. Obviously, let's toss it over to Mick.
Pre Gucci spend, how much money do you make?
Yeah, before you blew a bag at the Gucci store.
I honestly don't know. I mean, like, well, obviously,
We know. I mean, like
hundreds of thousands.
No, that's not.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
No, that's not true.
The tax man's listening.
Yeah,
exactly.
He said too much.
It's what's reported income and what do we get in
Right.
cash.
Well, how about this? Did you make more money as bankers as it stands right now?
Are you kidding me? No,
way.
man.
No
Fuck
way.
no.
Really?
As a first-year analyst, no.
Right.
But we spent. I mean, like when me and Mickey started writing, we earned nothing for like forever, 5-6 years.
We on the dole.
No.
I just want to drop that slang.
It's a good one.
Impressive.
Signing on. It's really good.
How much money would you like to one day make? Because no one wants to make $1 trillion unless you're a psychopath like Jeff Bezos or Richard Branson or whatever your version of Elon Musk is.
Richard
Branson is the British Elon Musk.
That's a big downgrade.
Yeah, for sure. But like, what would you guys like to kind of hit and then like cruise from there? Like you're good for the rest of your life.
Yeah. What's your number? Right? Everyone's got a number.
I honestly don't have one. I think it's a mark of successful people that they don't.
What materially changes? Like, what would you? I don't know what materially like. What in terms of my like the things I value and enjoy. Like I'd have to change my taste, I think.
Okay, so then here's a great question. What do you guys currently like to spend your money on? We've talked a lot about like, fanciful Johns, the Stone Islands, the Gucci, vintage watches, natural wine. What haven't we hit on that is like a passion?
Okay, before the pandemic, I'm a huge Liverpool fan, right? And I don't have access to tickets very easily. So I have a really good guy that I use that I've known since I was 14 years old. And that cost me quite a lot of money.
Right.
I guess traveling before. I mean, like going abroad.
Yeah, traveling. I guess.
Where would you guys go?
not for work, not to LA for work.
And also just like when I go through when I'm doing my tax return, I spend like an inordinate amount of money in the pub. I mean, I spend so much money on alcohol.
You'll never walk alone and you'll never drink alone, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You got to take advice from our boy Danny Lomas and just get the fucking £2 John Smith's ale or cider or whatever.
That was because obviously we filmed the show in Cardiff in Wales. And
no way.
Yeah,
hardest partying city in the UK.
Yeah, I mean, like
Cardiff after dark. Oh my goodness.
There's a lot of vomiting on the street.
Yeah, a lot of
Absolutely.
People trash out.
That's how you know it's good.
Yeah,
exactly. We were staying in this place called Penarth, which is like just outside of Cardiff. I guess it would be called a suburb of Cardiff, but maybe its own village as well. And like, in London, you go to the pub and the pint can be anywhere between £5 and then maybe like £6.50, maybe £7. And in Cardiff or Penarth, there was a pint of ale. It was £1.20.
Yeah,
and like that was one of the best things about the place.
Yeah,
the one redeeming factor.
Yeah, it was great.
We loved it. We loved
dollar
it.
beers.
Where would you guys? Pre-pandemic, where do you guys like to travel? Were you part of those like holiday weekend boys that would go to the Greek islands and like piss on ancient statues and shit?
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, you got a number. How did you know?
That's culture, baby.
I've seen Love Island.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like going places that I've never been before.
You mentioned Japan.
We've been to Ibiza 7.
Oh, yeah, I went to Ibiza every year of my 20s. But
Wow.
apart from that,
That's awesome.
A different type of Abita.
Yeah.
but somehow the reason is because somehow my girlfriend, now wife, convinced her family to spend their family holiday for 2 weeks in Ibiza every summer. And I think it was sort of, obviously we were there for a very different reason, but parents can also go play tennis, I guess, and
Sure.
go to the beach. And
Well, your wife is a better salesperson than Konrad ever was at his job, because I don't know, I can't convince my parents to spend fucking $5 on me. You know what I'm saying? Let alone a free trip to Ibiza. But respect.
Speaking of your then girlfriend, now wife, I assume the one that you had sex with that one time. Let's get into meats and cheeks.
Oh yeah, baby.
All right, let's break it down to the age-old question: who gets more ass, bankers or TV writers? And maybe Konrad, maybe this is just a question.
Konrad,
for you.
maybe want to jump in here.
I would say, unequivocally TV writers.
Yeah,
Okay.
Really?
Unequivocally.
Are bankers like outside of the internal banking world? Are bankers despised as like fucking pariahs on the teat of society?
Yeah.
yeah.
Social lepers.
Especially in the UK. I think I feel like they've gotten away with it a little bit in the States. Like they've sort of the dark mark of 2008 has faded a little bit. Whereas in the UK, I think the sort of reactive criticism of the show was bankers, I can't watch that. And I think we got a bit more of a pass in the States. I think the bankers are just still pariahs in the UK.
Is it? Let's talk about the popularity, because the show premiered weekly on BBC. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And then obviously was dropped. I don't know if it was dropped in tranches on HBO, but it was dropped differently. The reception was definitely different in the UK than in the States, for sure, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is
that a bummer for you guys, or is it actually better this way?
Really, it got it got really good reviews in the UK, from places from the Guardian gave it 5 stars and the Daily Mail was 5 stars, and they're from totally different parts of the spectrum.
Yeah.
They both
people didn't. But the reception from the view, the viewership was maybe lower than you would have wanted, or
the viewership was lower. I feel like there was a sort of if you know thing in the UK.
I like that. That's sexy.
I felt to be honest, I maybe because I'm living in a bubble, but I just got a lot of people messaging me being we had people messaging us saying people are talking about it in pubs next to us. So I'm in a coffee shop and people are debating who they are from the show. So I feel like it's become a little bit of a cult thing. There was a show in the 90s called This Life, which has sort of had a massive legacy on TV in the UK, which was it was similar to our show in that it was about young lawyers living together, and it was showed sex in between 20 somethings for the first time on British TV, and it was about professional class, and everyone's it's the new This Life, and I was like, well, This Life lasted 2 seasons and the writing worked again, so
right.
It's not. But yeah, it's similar like that. I feel it's got a bit of a cult following.
That's why we offered it up. If you want to drop some season 2 nuggets, entice the people now. Forever hold your peace.
I've said the partying comes back.
Yeah,
that's true.
I think there's a lot of we've just leaned into everything that was good about season 1 in terms of story, in terms of performances. I don't know, man. Hopefully it'll be a much stronger season of TV. So we're really excited about it.
I mean, we're excited
Can't
too.
wait.
And not to veer too far off the meats and cheeks red thread here. One of the most visceral, amazing scenes where you're just yo, this is not TV, this is HBO, is when Robert eats his own cum. So I want to ask you guys again, this show is super informed by your own life. Between the two of you, whose real life experience inspired the scene where Robert slurps up his own jizz?
I'm trying to think about actually the origin of this fucking scene.
No, I know.
Okay, go on. Yeah,
we were sitting at dinner with the head of the studio that made the show, and we were talking
about dinner conversation naturally.
Yeah. And she was we were talking about something that what is the apex of the Yasmin Robert relationship, and we said he should eat his own cum off the mirror. He said, try it out.
Yeah, noodle on that for a bit. Listen,
and it took a while I think they thought we were joking. And then when it appeared in script, they were like, "Oh, you were being serious."
Yeah.
And then they ran with it.
Was there anything more extreme that like you had to cut, or that people were like, "Oh, there was"?
In episode, what was it? Episode 5. There's a whole thing about Yasmin putting her boyfriend's cummy socks in a plant, and that was originally a dog.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right.
Yeah. What did the actor who, by the way, I DM'd him and he left me on red, or he never actually accepted the DM. The actor who plays Robert, I forget his name, but he's hot.
Harry Lawty. Great
Harry
actor.
Lawty. What was his reaction when he was reading the script? He's like, "I eat my cum."
To be fair, I think he was all for it. I mean, like,
is he a method actor? Did he?
He's a professional.
Right.
Okay. What was the substance used?
I'm sure he had the reaction to it, but then all we knew that he was a professional.
Sure.
What was the substance used? Because you see the jizz on the mirrors. Like, what do you guys use?
Syrup and like
It was like
corn syrup and porridge to give it a bit of texture, a bit of thickness,
but we also
a bit of heft.
Yeah, right. A robust nut, if you will.
But you know what? We actually added to it with CGI. So we added to the load on the mirror, but also we added.
You guys paid LucasArts $1 million.
So we were sending emails saying the cum has to be slightly thicker and there has to be
enhance
between the fingers. We don't know how much it costs. Make sure there's webbing between the fingers.
Right. The viscosity is a crucial detail.
We added that. If you look closely and you pause and you go, if you've got a good TV, you can see that there's actually like the webbing, as Konrad says, between his fingers and his lips, and that's added.
Yeah, that costs dollars.
This is why people buy 4K TVs now, is to see shit like this.
Do
Obviously,
you think there's some VX editor that like has that on his scene, on his resume? It's like on his CV, he's like, "I did the cum scene in industry."
There's a scene in Cruel Intentions when they kiss and there's the
yeah.
That's
like that, but for his load.
Yeah. Wow. Damn, we've come so far in Hollywood.
Here's a mood board for Robert eating his own jizz.
Yeah, right. Wow, that was well. Listen, man, this is why James and I podcast. It's to bring these kind of nuggets,
the
right?
Hollywood magic,
these gems, to crack these nuts,
made,
so to speak. Yeah.
And not only do we love podcasting, but we love spreading the joy and allowing our groms to partake in the process. And so in this next segment, 60 Seconds of Thirst, we're going to throw it to Chef. We're going to throw it to Dunk, who've been so patiently waiting in the wings. Chef has popped in expeditiously. That's not the right word, but Chef, I'm just going to throw it to you so I can drink some water, maybe have a piss. Chef, 30 Seconds of Thirst.
Thanks, man. You guys are crushing it.
Thanks, bro.
Huge fan of the show. You know, lots to love about it. But one of the things that you guys kind of talked about this already. Big fan of Rishi. I actually watched a YouTube clip of like every scene that just has him in it, and it was fucking amazing. And so I'm wondering, is there going to be more of him in season 2? Like, is he just going to be kind of like the ad-lib guy again, or is his character going to develop at all? Like, what's the
very good question?
Vibe?
Very good question.
I'm glad you like him. He's like 1-for-1 based on a friend of ours.
Yeah, 1-for-1. I literally 1-for-1.
Like we were literally gonna call Rishi the friend's name, and we had got cold feet at the last moment. But now we're introducing an intern with the guy's name.
Yeah, we might as well shout him out. Our friend Anraj, who like we actually got a picture of them on set together, and they look almost identical, which is so fucking funny. But like he's one of our favorite characters. It's weird. It's really difficult in this show to like. He's the sort of guy like we'd love to follow, but it's so hard when you have a multi character show to give them enough screen time. But like he actually in season 2 in our heads at least, he definitely has more story. He has more impact on certain scenes. And like all of the stuff that people love about Rishi, we actually did in post-production because like me and Mickey wrote like a script on top of the script, which was like a ADR script, which is so like it's bollocks. But basically what it means is you record bits of audio that you then put onto the main soundtrack, which makes the whole floor sound more dynamic and more like people are talking. So we were just like, we wrote as many jokes as we possibly could, and a lot of them ended up in the show.
Yeah, they're hilarious. Doug and I were talking about how some of his best lines are just like subtitles that you see at the bottom where like it's not.
Exactly.
No, it's super sick.
It's also us unfiltered that because for some reason HBO didn't sign off on any of it. So I think they didn't know we were doing it.
All right, Chef, thank you for the 30 seconds of thirst. Let's throw it over to our, I don't even know how anonymous you're supposed to be. Dunk, 30 seconds of thirst.
That's fine. What's up, guys? Love the show. I was telling James and Larry, this has been a lifelong dream of mine since I started watching the show 4 weeks ago. So glad to be here. My question for you guys is, and I guess you spoke about it a little bit with Sopranos, but what are some of the other like television show or movie references that you guys helped to sort of build the show? To make it so watchable, because at the end of the day, I guess it is it's a workplace drama, but it's so much more than that. Like, are there any other places that you guys were pulling from that you wanted it to look like or feel like, or the relationship sort of be like? Obviously, you could go like with the finance movies that exist, but anything there?
That's it. That's the 30 seconds of thirst are good, man. These are good fucking questions.
Yeah, we raised our children right. You know what I'm saying?
Also, we just need a break. Like we've been fucking spitting nothing but bars for
Thanks
an
for
hour and a
letting
half.
me pee, guys. Appreciate it.
I mean, like, we fell really short of this, but like episode 4, we wanted to feel a bit like a Safdie brothers movie. And like, they would have been our ideal directors probably for that episode. And like, I mean, obviously that's pie in the sky, but like,
You gotta hit up the fairy pod mother, Nomi Fry. She's
Nomi Fry
she's
can
the
make it happen.
Safdie's plug.
Yeah.
Oh, we love them.
We'll make that link happen.
I went to see this. I never do this, but I went to see Uncut Gems 3 times in the cinema.
Oh, wow. Was that your favorite movie of that year? Without a doubt.
What?
Was that your favorite movie of, what was that, 2019?
100%.
Those guys are fucking insane, man. I mean, like, I actually rewatched Good Time with my dad over Christmas, and he was like, halfway through the movie, he was like, you showed me this before. And we both had this thing where we were like, fuck, we're watching it again for the second time. It's like, it's insane. They're insanely good, man. I love that movie so much.
Chuck, who's off camera right now, he interviewed this Safdie bros, and it was a whole thing. The interview was never released. Let's just leave it at that.
That's how bad it was, but it happened regardless. So, shout out to Chuck.
To go back to the question, so like there was all that stuff. So it was like, we love basically everything set into the world of finance. We kind of love. So like whether that's literature, like American Psycho, or like Margin Call, Wolf of Wall Street, Boiler Room, even the bad movies, and they're like quote unquote bad movies. Like people think of Boiler Room as a B movie or whatever.
Or what about Wall Street 2? Money Never Sleeps.
I love that movie. I fucking love that movie.
Yeah.
Like we have a huge respect for all of those things, and then they're like the classic workplace dramas. So like me and Mickey love writing fast dialogue that's very dense, and like
Sorkin type dialogue.
Sorkin type dialogue, and also like a lot of people always say there's this like adage about screenwriting, which is like the best written. If you can write a perfect screenplay, nobody would say anything. That's very, very true, because like you should basically let the camera do everything, but. I love scenes where people are talking constantly at each other, and that might be like growing up with The West Wing and all the sort of those. But like, so we just like writing scenes where people are just popping fucking smart shit in everyone's face all the time, jokes, weird shit, whatever. And then I think the weirdest influence on our work in terms of like versus like for an American audience, like we like obviously like we grew up like loving British sitcoms. So like that goes from like Fawlty Towers, but all the way up,
classic,
like knowing The Office inside out. So like it was about trying to capture some of the weirdness and Britishness and dark humor, and like there's a dryness to British TV and British humor, which like sometimes I think like the cliche is that Americans don't get it, but I don't think that's true at all. It's like so we were trying to make the show as funny as possible, as quickly as possible. So hopefully we succeeded. I have no idea.
Fantastic answer. Thank you, Dunk. Appreciate you, dude. Good to see you.
30 seconds of thirst. We'll see you again in 6 to 9 months. All right. As you guys know, we are a John's focused podcast. First and foremost, not only do we love banger shows, but we love John's. We want to know in Last John, Next John, this little game, what was the last John you copped at full retail? I don't know if you guys are on Flow Team yet. You're not really out there. You will be season 2.
You're about to be.
And then what's the next John that you got your eye on that you're going to pull the trigger on? Mick, maybe like 5 minutes from now. Con, maybe 5 years from now.
Yeah.
So first up, Mickey, why don't you just tell us what was the last John you copped at full retail?
Yeah.
At full. Oh, the last John I copped.
You're a weirdly smart shopper. Actually.
Yeah, I am. I buy a lot of stuff from eBay. And this website called Hardly Ever Worn It, which is like dead stop.
Very literal named website.
Yeah. I'm really trying to. Konrad might have to go because I might actually. It might be some Stone Island card. Actually, no, I bought those.
Or I guess vintage counts. We always say full retail, but obviously, like if you bought a vintage thing, it was still like
if it wasn't given to you, right? If it wasn't a friendship bracelet that a director bought like 2 dozen of on Alibaba.
I bought a Moncler. This is called Wilson puffer jacket. An orange Wilson Moncler puffer jacket, which
Very sick.
I absolutely love. I'm an absolute cunt walking around wearing it, but I love it.
You're allowed to say that because you're British.
If it doesn't work out, you can rent it out like your boy did, you know? Just make a little extra. And what's the next thing you want to get, Mick?
You know what?
Is it Gucci?
I think it might be.
Is it Gucci Mickey Mouse sneakers?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I was going to say something else that I was given. Actually, no, that doesn't work then.
Gucci North Face?
Yeah. Actually, I looked at that and I thought, fuck. I actually looked at it was like, that's obviously, it's very hard to get. And I looked at it and thought like, fucking hell, am I really going to pull the trigger on this? And I've even like the sort of devil on my shoulder saying, my wife, saying, do not buy that was very strong that moment. I thought like, it's going to, like, I can just see it in 2 years in a cupboard somewhere.
No, sure.
Probably.
Please do not spend $12,000 on this ass puffer. Your child, well, I guess they don't need money for school because you live in a advanced society.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know what I want next.
All right, Con, what was the last John you copped?
Well, man, it arrived 2 days ago. I bought a little piece of summer. I bought something for my future self, which was a.
This is the plot of Tenet, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. There should have been more Miss Sony in Tenet. I bought like a Miss Sony shirt, basically,
like a resort shirt,
like a Camp Cola bowling shirt.
Love that.
And it was like. I think it was like half price. I couldn't believe it was so cheap. And it was sold out everywhere. And then I found it on this like retailer in the UK called Flannels. And I don't know. It arrived, I put it on and I was like, okay, COVID will be over soon. And
save this for Ibiza.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're going to single-handedly solve this pandemic crisis so that you could wear this bowling shirt.
That's exactly what went through my head. How did you know that?
Yeah. And then besides the Rolex, what's the next thing that you have your eye on? Or the vintage watch, whatever it may be.
I want some. What I don't know how you pronounce this brand, but you guys actually have worked with them. The Italian brand DMA.
Yes, of course. We'll get you free. Say less. We're gonna get you free shit. Say less.
No, man, I really want those. They have those boots. They're not. What are they? They're called like I want to say focaccia, but that's an Italian brand.
Called the podcast.
Mamma mia.
Yeah, called the meatball twos.
Yeah,
they're like these black hiking boots, basically, and they're really, 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 really.
Bro,
nice.
their shit is named like Carpaccio and fucking. It's all
Asiago.
Named the Asiago boots too.
Eggplant Parmesan.
Yo, honestly, say less. We're gonna put you in touch with our boy Chris, and he's gonna get you those boots. Well,
Corrado, Chris Corrado, no relation to Uncle Junior.
Yeah.
No, man, no, please hook me up because I go on their website every day and everything's out of stock.
Dude, say less. We're going to make it happen for you.
We scratch your back or you scratch our back. We get a cameo on Industry
Exactly.
Season 2.
Yeah.
About that.
We can make that happen easily.
Listen.
Maybe pay for your own flight, but.
Okay. Well, all right.
We'll put you up.
You can have a drink with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
You won't sleep
we can
3 days. But
we can party in Cardiff.
Say less.
Very with it. All right. Industry best show 2020. If you don't know about it, if you haven't been seduced by the very vague details of Industry Season 2, get the fuck on board.
Yeah, the extremely vague.
You guys are clearly putting out some of the best creative content in the world right now. Absolute fire Johns, both in the show and IRL. So we want to know in this segment we call Fuck With Not Fuck With.
It's a working title.
It's our not an exit, right? We're still working on the title. We want to know what you're fucking with, what you're not fucking with. Specifically, what TV shows right now that are on right now or in 2020 or 2021, what are you fucking with right
Besides
now?
Industry, all the shit that's not as good as
besides the best show on TV Industry.
All right. So once I've crushed Industry, what should I watch?
The Real Housewives of Potomac.
Okay. Yeah.
Really? Potomac, not Salt Lake City.
Yeah. Salt Lake City is the one that's having a moment right now.
Salt Lake City as well. It's only because basically, obviously, we're in a lockdown and I can't watch. I don't know why, but just like during the process of making this show, I've just been unable to. I've started again, but I've been unable to watch scripted TV.
Is that because you don't want to be influenced by other things, or
everything all the time, and like you just want like easy, like double screen stuff and
like background noise or whatever.
Ambient TV.
Exactly. And like my wife, who was pregnant, started watching The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, so we watched all of that, and then I watched all of New York, and now I'm watching Potomac and Salt Lake at the same time, and they're really good. Actually,
You're on a transcontinental trip across
I think they really do something that we do in our show, which is like, and all reality TV shows do, because obviously they're quote unquote real, but they play with your allegiances to the characters all the time. So like, and from one episode to the next, they're like, okay, well, you're going to love this person this week.
Right.
Okay? And like,
it's like wrestling.
The editors are the real superstars on that show because it's the way that they manufacture those storylines is absolutely
is the Real Housewives empire, is that really the only reality TV that you like? Because also, I mean, British reality TV, let's talk about that. That shit is
Love Island, obviously. Yeah.
Love Island, yeah. I mean, I remember Love Island last season was just starting when me and Konrad had just moved to Wales. So that is actually like a cultural phenomenon here. Everyone talks about it. Like you cannot get away from it. Like there's WhatsApp groups. There's just there's the big broadsheets are talking about it. Like, so it feels like you can't really escape that. I've sort of fallen back in love with reality TV this year.
Did you ever watch a show that took place in Cardiff called The Hills?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Valley.
I mean, that was that they really showed the arse end of the country in that. I think that people
I loved it.
They had a Welsh version of Jackass as well, which I can't remember the name of.
Dirty
Sanchez, which was fucking the truth of when you're asking for TV recommendations, is like the truth is there's never been more TV and it's never been less good. That's the truth. There's so much just what you guys would call ass TV.
Yeah, sure. And you would call it fanny. A lot of fanny TV.
Just like mediocrity, just absolute mediocrity, like just shit, silly.
Is there anything dropping besides season 2, in the next year or so that you are excited for?
Dude, Better Call Saul is the best thing on TV by a mile.
Okay.
I need to watch season 5.
Yeah, that's what everyone says. I mean, obviously James and I are huge Breaking Bad guys, but I think that we definitely could get into Better Call Saul.
I'm into it. I'm into it, brother. It's just that I don't have like AMC Plus, whatever. But they're all on Netflix.
It's phenomenally good. I mean, the thing is that stuff really stands out. I think, like, you look at people's top 10 lists. Like, for me, that was so clearly the best show of last year. And every year it's aired, it's like a weird show because it creeps up on you. But every year it's aired, it's like this is so obviously the craft of it is at such a high level compared to everything else that you can't not like it.
Absolutely.
Speaking of a show like that, that's such a vehicle for Bob Odenkirk, who's like a legend. Like, who is someone that each of you, is there a cameo or, that someone you would die to have in even just like a scene on the show?
Jonah Hill.
Yeah,
well, actually, I mean, that isn't me and Konrad wrote this film called Gregor, which no one can ever see because it's incredibly offensive and will kill our careers. But
sounds like a must watch.
Can we release it behind the paywall?
Yeah, we'll drop it on Patreon, starring me and James.
But we did like a press pack, which obviously you have to do a press pack for a film. I don't think anyone read this press pack, but like I think my wife interviewed us and we talked about the fact that like Jonah Hill is probably the best modern day actor and that we'd like want him to be in anything. So like him,
we'll make it happen.
Yeah, I mean,
that's our guy. That's our close personal celebrity friend. We'll hit him up.
We absolutely love him.
Yeah, he bumped into us at a dinner once when we were in LA, and he was very, very nice to us, and we kind of remember it forever.
Yeah, he didn't. He knew the person we were with, and he couldn't have been nicer, and like he could have been like not nice at all, and he was incredibly nice.
Yeah. It's a good vibe.
He's the only real celebrity that's ever done this podcast. He's done it twice.
What about us?
No. Real famous people. You heard me, right? I didn't know if they cut out or something.
Yeah,
not these chances.
Not these chances. Not these shitbags. The guy. There are a lot of there are actors that we really want for season 2 as well.
Steve Guttenberg.
Oh, really? Come on, right? Ledge.
It's really weird. Like, well, we would think there's a specific role, and we were like just thinking about fantasy casting, and I don't know why I said Steve Guttenberg, but Konrad responded to it. But I don't even know if he's acting anymore.
We want Tracy Letts to be in the show as well. So if he listens, like Tracy, come on, please.
I don't think Tracy Letts is listening, but Steve Guttenberg, huge throw gang. So we got that.
He had an amazing cameo in Party Down. There's a whole episode at his crib. I want to talk about an aspect of the show that I think some people do talk about, and I'm completely blanking on the guy who does the score for Industry. What's his name real quick so we can shout him out?
Nathan McKay.
That legend. Guy fucking rules. The music on this show, this was another point that I think I focused on too much when I was initially selling Lawrence on it. I was like, the music is so gas. The score is like, I'm getting fucking K-Pax vibes, even though Kevin Spacey's, you know, out the fucking paint here.
Well, you're getting welcome to K-Pax vibes?
Yeah.
From the score? All right. I mean, that's a very specific.
The original score, super gas. And then the music throughout is super fire. I put up because I was rewatching because, you know, that's my job is to fucking research for the show, I guess. And so I was rewatching and I put up like one of the tracks on my IG story and I got so many responses. People like, yo, industry. Yeah, this is the shit. This is the shit. And the guy had like 10,000 Spotify listeners. The music on the show is big fire. So we want to know, what music are you guys currently fucking with right now?
Jeez.
Too old to ask us that question.
Yeah.
Well, no,
how involved are you with the music on the show?
I actually have an answer for this. Juice Jackal.
That's who I put up.
The Swan Lingo song at the end of 3 that he collaborated on with Juice Jackal. He sent me and Mickey a preview of this album that's coming out this year. He's a fucking lovely, positive guy. We DM each other quite a lot. And his fucking music is amazing.
He's also the cable guy, which we did.
He's also the cable guy
on Instagram, which we didn't know when we
That's the cable guy.
Yeah, that's him. That's him. They're the same.
Shout
dude.
out the cable guy. He also was promoting industry for the Fiddies, obviously to no avail, but
we tried
him out.
I genuinely, his music's fantastic. I think genuinely.
So we just exposed the cable guy, which I guess is like a nice little Easter egg. I don't know if he's like, because I don't think anyone knows who he is, right? Or
he's great. I mean, just Dipset all day, every day.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Do you have a favorite member of Dipset? Is it, or who's your favorite outside of Cameron?
Hell Rel, probably.
Oh, wow. Deep cut, dude. Yeah.
We get some
Freaky Zeke if he's not out yet. You know,
I know you guys are, you know, you have music supervisor. Can we get some Dipset on season 2?
Man, so like, well, our music supervisor, shout out to Ollie White, who's just like incredible. He found Nathan actually. He has a sort of encyclopedic knowledge of music for all genres, and like he was the one. You know, it wasn't for HBO terms, it wasn't a very big budget show, so we were sort of forced to find people who maybe hadn't made it as much yet, and he found incredible music for not that much money.
Yeah,
which is really good.
I feel like the biggest artists maybe have been like 070 Shake. Former colleague of mine.
Yeah. I don't understand how she's not bigger in the US and globally. It makes no sense to me at all. I guess
she's
Def
awesome.
Jam problem. Yeah.
Huh? So don't ask me. It's not my problem anymore.
Yeah. That's up to the heads. That's up to the heads at Def Jam. You know, that's on them. The blood is on their hands.
All right, guys. Look, before we kick you out of here and get started on the afters, which is, by the way, I forgot to mention that, but after we end this episode, we're going to do like 15, 20 minutes of bonus content. Mentally prepare yourself for that. Behind the paywall, Konrad knows what I'm talking about. I know Konrad subscribed to the Patreon. I saw you sign up about 3 or 4 weeks ago when we first started talking. Mick, I know that you just had a kid and you have the whole Gucci budget, so I'm not holding you to that. But thank you, Konrad.
Mick, after you follow me back on all social media platforms, then you can sign up for the Patreon.
I didn't see that you followed me. Obviously, I'm going to follow you back.
I followed you first, so it's fine. We'll
get it sorted. Don't even worry.
We're gonna pitch you off mic, and Lawrence is gonna thirst for a follow off mic, even more so than he just embarrassed himself doing. But
I'm not embarrassed at all.
You guys are doing great, right? Smash HBO show, season 2 greenlit. You quit your jobs. You're pursuing your dreams. You have mad expensive clothing on. We want to offer you up some constructive criticism because we always think that people can do better, right? Take it or leave it. This is an outsider perspective. We are the Harpers coming to your world, right? This is we're not held back by obligations of class. We're not these fucking chin Henrys or whatever they're called. Take it or leave it. First up, get me and Larry onto season 2 cameos on the show, specifically in a party scene, top 5 party animals of all time. Robert, Chris Farley, James Harden, Jimmy, Larry.
Yeah.
Done.
Make magic happen.
Man, that's
easy. That's
so method act the fuck out of that.
So easy. Simple.
Next.
No props. No fake drugs. No props.
Let's move on.
Okay, perfect. Easy. All
Done.
Right. Box checked. All right, next
HBO.
one.
You heard it.
Arguably even more important than giving us cameos. We've talked about getting, extremely successful people on the pod, budding celebrities. Can you guys hook us up with the creators of Succession and get them on the podcast?
I think they're a bit busy, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
is there rivalries between like the other now that you guys are in the HBO family?
It's actually weird because Bad Wolf, the production company that makes industry, their CEO is also an executive producer in Succession. So there is actually a sort of.
So you can get us the creators on the podcast, is what you're saying. You can make them.
They won't respond to our emails.
They're serious individuals. They're serious
right. They're not trying to destroy their career before it gets started, a la you two jackals. Right. Got
Let me just say this, though. We are pretty confident that the podcast boots are going to appear in Succession season 3. And so if you want to play with the big boys in the fucking, Premier League or whatever you guys call it over there,
the Premier League, yeah.
Get the pod loafers on season 2 of Industry. Make sure that happens too.
That's done as well. We can do that.
Yeah, we can do
that. Cool.
All right, this is kind of related. I'm a genius, right? I'm a visionary, like my man MF Doom, RIP. I got big picture, the whole universe. I'm 10 steps ahead of you. This whole reason that we brought you on the pod, not just to find out when the merch is dropping, but ultimately it's for Throwing Fits to take next steps. Let's link and build and make the Throwing Fit show happen. Dead silence.
Balls in your court.
I'm the industry guys.
Balls on your pitch, I believe is the term.
It's not a question. It's constructive criticism. Make the Throwing Fit show.
Yeah. It's more of an order.
100%.
Who would play you guys?
Yeah.
Who would play you?
Jonah Hill would play Lawrence.
Yeah, I could do Jonah Hill, the greatest actor of all time, the only guy who's up to the task, to be honest. As far as James,
a half Asian actor. There's got to be some like hot guy on TikTok or something, right?
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah, let's get Jonah Hill and a hot guy from TikTok for our show. Let's do that. That sounds like a winning combo.
They work well together, those two.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, Jonah can work well with anyone, as proven by doing this podcast 2 times. So, he can really do it all. Finally, the last piece of constructive criticism for you guys, take it or leave it, but please continue to take it.
I'm going to take this one.
Can you intro us to some of your finance friends, and can we secure some juicy angel investment for the only podcast that matters? James and I want to buy Stoney and Gucci and vintage Rolexes too,
Yeah,
100%.
Okay, all right, cool. If you haven't burned all of those bridges, obviously, like
a lot of money in media these days. Am I right?
I guess if there's any bridge that you'd like to burn that hasn't been burned yet, that could be obviously something to that'll really stoke the flames. Pitching this.
I've got one life left.
Yeah, there we go, dude. Love that. Game over.
All right, Mickey, Konrad, thank you for coming on the only podcast that matters. Before we get into the afters and end this episode, where can the 18 million listeners listening at home follow you guys? Let's get these guys a respectable number of IG followers. Konrad, you go first.
I'm at Konrad, Konrad, and then M, and then M for Max, then Kay.
On all platforms?
Okay. Yeah, on all platforms. On Instagram, Twitter, I can live without having followers on, to be honest.
You're good. You're a good follow on Twitter. Mick,
yeah, be careful what you wish
Mick for. Too. Also, Mick's another fire follow on Twitter. Mick, where can the kids follow you?
I'm at MNA down DOWN. I was about to say my email address.
What's your social security number? Do they have those in England?
Door code as well.
My PIN number. It's a bit like man down, but instead of MAN, it's MNA, and then down, opposite of up.
All right, we'll tag you guys in all promo because you guys might want better branding as co-creators of only the best show on TV right now. So.
All right, but for real, thank you guys for coming on the Podcast Matters. Konrad, Mickey, thank you again. Chef, take us out with that good, juicy jackal.
I wish that I could see you now. Wish you call any day.